Feels bad, man. I really was hoping that Gran Colombia would get great power status before the game ended, so I could use the you know, Great War CB, or not Great War CB, but you know, so I could take states from them for cheap, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. Let's see what the discussion in chat has been going on about. Like the government, when they receive the aid, they build shitty roads. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, you got it when you think about democracies and dictatorships. You always got to think of it as a spectrum, right? Any government is on a spectrum between absolute dictatorship and absolute democracy, and so just because a country that is technically a democracy does, like, you know, a country like Russia that is technically a democracy might act more like a dictatorship because in reality it is, you know, it's different. So when I say that democracies are like this and that, and when I say dictatorships are like this and that, I'm pointing out that, or you know, I'm implying that just because a country might be officially a democracy, that's not necessarily the reality. Just say Macedonia. Lesser Greens. Moldova is basically an extremely corrupt democracy. Yeah, so I mean that means that it's less democratic, as in it's further on the spectrum towards dictatorship. Socialist Party. What's the worst hyped game you have ever played? Oh, I feel like there's an obvious candidate there, but also listen to the Blessed. Damn it! Come on! There we go. Okay, I do admit that the sound of this beer isn't as nice, but that's because the opening isn't... It doesn't have that normal little small opening like a normal beer can. It has like a big one, so it basically turns the can into a glass. Feels good, man. It's the hypest game I've ever played. Fuck. Could have sworn I bought some really... Well, I haven't... I can't think of a hyped game that I played that was... But I do remember buying the Battlefield 1 season pass and only playing one of those DLCs. So I guess I couldn't help it. EA got me. EA got me. No Man's Sky. You bought No Man's Sky? Feels bad, man. Even I realized that that was a bit too good to be true. Revolution for the memes. You don't live in the UK. I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but I mean, basically the current EU deal that the UK was about to accept before that went wrong is basically the same deal that Norway has. Like, Norway is not in the EU. It has like this in-between type thing going on. Sweden is banned in this Twitch. Come on. Yeah, I know more messages below. Click the fucking... Thank you. Headed out for dinner. The weed peace man. Oh, you're headed out for dinner. What word was supposed to be then? Norway still indirectly part of the EU. Yeah, kind of. We're basically just... We can't vote, which isn't a big deal, seeing as we have like no people. And so our voting power would be miserable. But we get a couple of important exemptions to the EU rules. But yeah, the Norwegian government has always wanted to get into the EU, but the people has always voted no. The weed man? Then weed man. Ah, well, bless you then. Have some smoke some good things, and think of the poor people who who can't smoke because it's fucking illegal. And I like, you know, weed is super illegal in Norway. Like if I visit some country where it's like where it's technically illegal, but where no one gives a shit about it. If I went to Spain, I would smoke weed without being stressed out. But I would not smoke weed in Norway, because in Norway it's so illegal that like they fuck you up if you get even slightly busted. Like for some reason, like despite Norway being one of the first nations to have like women vote, you know, gays got married or were allowed to marry here pretty early. Like Scandinavia has always been pretty good on that stuff, but for some reason, weed and marijuana is just like the drug policy in general is so backwards that it's shocking. In Moldova, the Socialist Party is like the most anti-EU party ever, and the right-wing party is the most pro-EU ever. Yeah, that's generally how it goes. Our primary Socialist Party is basically the same as our primary right-wing party, so it doesn't surprise me that the primary quote-unquote Socialist Party is pro-EU. But you gotta realize that every party in Norway is a lot more socialist than the average political party would be. You know, the most right-wing party in Norway is probably more left-wing than the most, or you know, it's probably more left-wing than the Republicans are, just because of the history of the nations. You know, at this point, the people have gotten so many rights in Norway that it would be political suicide to try and revoke those political rights. So even the right-wing people wouldn't dare. Why would the left like the EU? As I said, the primary leftist party in Norway is pretty right-wing by Norwegian standards, and the EU is like, on paper I support the EU. The only reason I vote against it is that oh yeah, fuck, more thingies. The only reason I vote against the EU is that the EU is far too, like on average, the EU Parliament is far too right-wing for my preferences. And so out of a sense of self-preservation, I want to keep Norway as far away from that as possible. Can I build dreadnoughts now? Yes. Alright. Which isn't necessarily a, you know, an organizational fail of the EU. It's more just that, on average, Norway is a lot more socialist than the EU peoples are. So I don't like the idea of a supranational government voting in right-wing policies that I disagree with. Why did the economy just go to shit? It's the subsidies, isn't it? Yeah. I wonder. Let's. Do I want to take that risk? Yeah, let's take a risk. Let's actually like cancel subsidies for a while, just to see if the factories and current economy can handle that. Yeah, I can see planes factories are just not working, so I can see why we want to ditch a couple of those and replace them with more barrel factories, as it were. I just want to make sure that places that have few factories need to keep subsidies. Not many sultans. Oh, thank God. Yeah, I thought I just canceled all that development, but I guess I didn't. There was a route. Oh man, I don't know. It feels kind of pointless to build a bunch of factories this late in the game, considering that it's well, late in the game, and so it's like it's not gonna have that much of an effect. But I guess it has reached a point where I really feel like I should get some of these things down there and sorted. to ensure prosperity, if not for gameplay reasons, but just for my own sense of achievement. If only I could read chat while I did this, but it's such a... Sanders has already launched support among intersectionalists. I don't know what that is. The German government is right-wing. Any socialist party that is pro-EU is usually operating in blind opposition. Who do you think will win in the US in 2020? Not Trump, basically. Whoever the Democrats put out there. Maybe it will be Clinton again. Wouldn't surprise me. I think Sanders, if he has not died. I don't know. I feel like the fundamental political realities of the Democratic Party will prevent Sanders from ever becoming the candidate. The only reason, yeah, maybe he will form his own party and run as a third candidate, but the only thing that would do is allow Trump to get power, because, you know, the left-wing vote will be split. It's like when Teddy Roosevelt, you know, ran as a third candidate. Everything just went to shit. To be fair, the guy who won that election was actually, you know, not necessarily the most evil human being who ever existed, so... Even if he was naive. Trump will definitely win the second term. You really think that? I honestly don't. I think he has fucked up too much. It would really surprise me if Trump won the second term. Like, surely... Because once he removed Obamacare... you know, the people... A lot of the right-wing people would have felt that, right? Because a lot of the right-wing people are like poor white people. Who actually like... Because a lot of people didn't realize that Obamacare was the same as the Affordable Care Act. And so they were convinced by the politicians that the Affordable Care Act was a bad thing. Only then to realize that they relied on the Affordable Care Act. They had just gotten convinced that anything with the name Obama on it was bad, and so they kind of shot themselves in the leg there. But surely, after suffering through losing affordable healthcare, they will be forced to acknowledge that they need a certain level of government help because of the realities of modern society. Obamacare is still operating? It is? Well, today I learned. Today I learned. Didn't he say he was going to revoke that? Well, if Obamacare never failed. The only thing that was officially shut down was the mandate, which has limited... Well, but if it has limited it, then that still proves my point, you know. Or it doesn't... I don't know. Saying prove my point sounds wrong, but... You know, the idea that the poor people who suffer but still vote for right-wing candidates, like, the more they suffer, at some point even they will have to break and realize that big business is a bigger threat to them personally than big government, you know? That's basically the general idea in Norway anyways. You know, everyone hates whoever is oppressing them, and the general rule in Norway is that Norwegians quickly realize that big business is a bigger threat than big government. In a democracy, of course, but Norway has been a democracy for so long that it makes sense that it would be like that. Sorry for this industrial cancer taking so long. For those who are watching on YouTube, this is why I don't post, or this is generally why I generally don't stream Victoria 2, because this means that whenever I post Victoria 2 on YouTube, it's going to be cancerous like this is. No one wants to see me just sit there for ages trying to upgrade my factories to make them profitable. I really wish I could. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to try liberalism at this point in this game. I feel like it could work. I like how I go talking about how cancer liberalism is IRL, and then I just like, but in video games I would want to do it. But that makes sense though. In video games I commit genocide, and for obvious reasons I'm not hugely enthusiastic about genocide IRL. So let's read some chats while we just have something to talk about while I do this. If I'm being realistic, I think O'Rourke will become the nominee. I have no idea who that is. I basically don't read the news anymore. I don't think, like, from my experience, if a news story is important enough where I should know about it, then I'll generally learn about it, despite the fact that I don't pay attention to the news. And so I find that paying attention to the news just isn't worth it generally. Yeah, I guess this was the timeline where plane factories just didn't work out. Ah, it's such a shame to see the sawmills failing. That does feel a bit bad, man. Such a shame I don't have radios either. Trump says a lot of shit. Yeah, but there's been science about that actually. Like, the fact that Trump says stuff that is obviously a lie has surprising, like, it basically doesn't matter that what he says is lies, because something about the human experience in the modern world makes it so that we don't realize that something is bullshit, or a lot of people do anyways. Something about, like, if you say a thing many times, eventually your brain will just sort of start accepting it as truth, even if it is, from an outside perspective, obviously bullshit. I am disappointed with my capitalists. I fucking encourage them as well. Why aren't they building anything? Like, I get that they are not going to be the cornerstone of my fucking industrial outputs, but the fact that they aren't even trying is a bit sad. I use uneducated loosely. The overwhelming majority of people are entirely uninformed, uneducated, and do not consider their positions. Yeah, that's true. Once again, just a disclaimer, it wouldn't... As a guy who just admitted to not really paying attention to the news, and as I've said multiple times before, I've become very cynical when it comes to politics. Like, I don't really... I used to pay attention to politics, but I don't do that anymore. You know, I just sort of show up to the polls, because I think voting is still like a... Well, in America, voting isn't that important because of gerrymandering, but... Well, voting is... Well, you should still tell Americans that they should vote, just because expecting an American to know whether or not he lives in a gerrymandered district or not is not necessarily something you can expect in. So it's a lot easier to just hope that everyone votes in an effort, or, you know, to try and convince everyone to vote in an effort to increase democratic participation, because I think, like, democratic participation is a good thing regardless of whether or not your party has any chance of ever gaining political influence. So in the same way, like, I realize that the things I want out of politics is pretty unlikely to happen anytime soon, but that doesn't stop me from voting for it, because as I said, I think voting in itself is a... Like, it is important just because it forces politicians to take you into consideration. I'm just rambling at this point, I know, but that's what happens when I'm tipsy and I'm trying to pay attention to what factories I should be building. That should do the trick, though. You know what? I'm gonna save that just so I don't like, just in case the game crashes. Also, I need to change the options to get me. I need, yeah. Let me get half year. There we are. Basically, yeah. I usually play on that option. Then again, I don't think I do on the Spain campaign yet. Maybe I should. I don't know. Spain campaign hasn't been crashing though, so I don't know. Like the socialists in my country are corrupt and wealthy AF. Yeah. I live in a district that votes 96% Democrat, and yeah, and because of first past the post and gerrymandering, you basically don't have to vote because, you know, your vote is unironically completely irrelevant to the realities of, you know, the only thing you should be doing in terms of politics is going out in the streets and protesting the insanely cancerous political system you live under. I dare say undemocratic political system you live under. Because gerrymandering and first past the post is basically just a way of indirectly preventing people from having their democratic vote matter. And I think that's fundamentally wrong. For a non-voting representative? Where are you from, Sraka? I'm 99% sure I've asked you before, but you know me. It took me at least, you know, I had to ask Cornell where he was from at least 3 times or something like that before I finally remembered it. Careful there, bot. Sounds like you might need some freedom. Yeah. I've always said that about America. I never, when people say that the American dream is dead, I disagree. The American dream is more alive than it ever was. My argument is simply that the American dream was never that good to begin with. Because, what the fuck, why can't I combine them? What the shit? Okay then. But yeah, the American dream was always about every man can achieve great things in America because there is no royal privilege or anything like that. But that's the important word there in that context. Every man can achieve good things. And the implication as well of that statement is that not everyone will become rich and wealthy. Some people will become homeless, and homeless people are living the American dream because the fact that some people will have to be homeless was always a basic part of that idea. If you have an idea where some people can become insanely rich, then you know what, let's just do these things. I don't even care anymore. If you have a ideology based on the idea that some people can become extremely rich, then it is an inevitability that some will have to be extremely poor. And so the fact that people are surprised that the American dream led to chronic, you know, homelessness. Really? Italy won that war? How the fuck did you pull that off? Hey, Italy. Forgot about you. Ah, we are allied. Okay then. Maybe it's time for another war against the Spanish. Yeah, once my navy is done, I'm totally invading the Spanish again. I live in DC. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, are you Puerto Rican? Surely. But yeah, it makes sense that I always forget that DC as well can't vote. Such a joke. Such a joke. There's nothing more American than the fact that the people in the capital can't vote. It's like, from the outside, it's such an obvious fundamental flaw in the system, but it seems like no Americans care or even talk about it. Like, it's just like, eh. Like, that's fine. This is okay. Eee, but excuse me, I need to clear my brain a bit. I need some beer. Why the fuck are there Vinlanders in Herero land? I mean... Also, maybe I should send some troops down to the duchy. I might have to do that. Also, are you... No, he's working on it. Okay. What the fuck? Since when? Since when can Vinlanders migrate to the colonies? That is not at all supposed to be possible. Well, if this is a bug, then it's a good one, because I always thought it was cancer that New Worlders can't migrate to other places. How cool, how lovely. Let's see, are liquor factories doing well these days? I really should stop building canned factories, or canned goods factories, shouldn't I? Yeah, you know what, let's just nuke these. Yeah, fuck the planes, what the hell. I thought maybe that by reducing the output, the surviving factories would still get some stuff going. Also, Jesus Christ, this place really needs more factories. Sorry for going back to this cancer part of the game, but having factories that are making so little money just hurts my soul, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, we're not fuck telephones, let's do tanks. At this point in the game, I think tanks might actually do decently. Wait, if you live in DC, you can't vote? Yeah. If you live in DC, DC is not a state. In America, people don't vote. States do. Well, people vote for who their state representatives should vote for. But that also means that if you don't live in a state, you can't vote. That's why Puerto Rico can't vote, because it's not a state. It's a territory. And it's why DC can't vote, because they're not a well, yeah, they're not a state. They're a special territory. They're a special capital territory. I don't even think there is an excuse for not having DC votes. Like, surely when the founding fathers created DC, they should have realized that eventually it is an inevitability that the capital of a nation will eventually have a large population. And so the fact that they never got around to giving them voting rights strikes me as perfectly logical when you think about it. Because obviously the founding fathers were from specific states, and so it actually makes perfect sense that they wouldn't want to dilute their own votes by giving more people votes. So yeah, actually, once again, that's the harsh reality of life sometimes, is that doing bad stuff always, or very often, makes perfect political sense. The book that I keep talking about, The Dictator's Handbook, the full title of that book is The Dictator's Handbook, Why Bad Policy? Bad Politics? Bad... I think it's bad politics. It's the... You get the idea regardless. The Dictator's Handbook, Why Bad Politics Almost Always Make Perfect Sense. That is not the name of the book. Dictator's Handbook. I want to get this right. Yeah, The Dictator's Handbook, Why Bad Behavior is Almost Always Good Politics. That's the full name of that book. And that's the whole point that I agree with. It's like, do not, like, if a bad thing is happening in your country, focus on the organizational system that created the motivation to act in a bad way. Don't focus on the person doing the bad thing, because in most cases the reason a person is doing bad stuff, like, he's doing it because he is politically motivated to do so. District of Columbia, more like District of Cancer. DC has 3 electoral votes, to be fair. Oh, they do? It was deliberately not given statehood because it was supposed to be neutral. Yeah, listen to the political shenanigans of the Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers wanted they wanted state representatives to be neutral as well, didn't they? They didn't want political parties to be a thing, which is so retarded because, like, sure, like, these guys had, like, they lived in the same time period as the French Revolution. They should have known that political parties are an inevitability of any democratic political system. And so the fact that they didn't create the government with that knowledge in mind is so backward. And once again, I refuse to call it weird, because there are inevitably political reasons for why that is the case. We have a mayor, but a budget is approved by the legislature. Americans only care about electoral reform about 4 months after the presidential election. Yeah, that sounds about right. Treaty of... what? No. Really? Well, Russia just collapsed. That's bad. Feels bad, man. Also, any more oil now in these lands? How are you not in my sphere yet? I guess I just forgot about adding you. Yeah, that is also one of those harsh truths of political reality, is that, like, people just don't have time to always be invested in politics. And people just don't care enough. Like, I don't want to say that to be critical of people, because I am one of those people. Like, I could care a lot more about politics, but, like, I know what I want. I want a 6-hour workday. Both for, you know, because I'm lazy and I don't want to work as much, but also because the fact that chronic unemployment is an issue in modern society is bad. And I'm a big believer in the idea that there isn't enough work anymore for people because technology has advanced so more. And so I want a 6-hour workday so that the available work is spread among the available people. Like, having only 2 parties is really dumb. Yeah, it's completely retarded. Like, it's undemocratic is what I would call it. Like, as a person who comes from a country with multiple political parties, the idea that you only have 2 options is absolutely insane. The American political system was set up to support an alliance between the large northern states and southern slave state. It was an alliance that to subvert its own representative system from the beginning. Yeah, it makes sense. Like it was a lot less democratic back in the day as well. And that was not random. Also, I think we actually have enough money now to pay for some more unemployment subsidies, so we'll do that. It will calm down the... oh yeah, we have a revolt, don't we? Let's sort that out real quick. Something like that should do the trick. Then again, though, I will give the American system props for, like, the fact that it was one of the first attempts at democracy. The fact that they got it as right as they did is, I don't know, it's impressive. Like, I feel like you can sort of like, if a country was democratic from an early time, then it generally has an awful political or democratic system today. Like, Britain had Britain was relatively early with the whole democracy meme. You know, with the... like, when I say democracy, I mean that, you know, at least a couple of people get to vote in parliament. Even if those were only rich landowners. They still technically got to vote. And so, it's something, eh? But yeah, like, 2 if any nation has the option of like designing a political system from scratch, they basically never design it based on England or the United States, because it has been proven again and again that those systems are so bad that they should be avoided at all costs. There were voices at the founding that were closer to modern parliamentarian democracies. I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Sounds like there could be. Where's the fucking... Yeah, okay, that does the trick. Right, let's see if we can finally get these derps in Burgundy, who have just sort of been sitting there for years now. Let's see if we can get them over to the mainland, as it were. Let's see. Yeah, Russia is not going to recover for a while, is it? No, because they're probably... yeah, they lost. They no longer have, what do you call it? Yeah, they were cut down to size. That's what they were. How long until you're westernized, China? Because I do still want to invade Japan. 70%, that's pretty awful, but I guess compared to other people, it's not the worst. Such a shame though, Russia. Why did you do this? Why did you go kill yourself like that? That didn't make any sense. Burgundy? I mean, I guess we'll ally them just to have someone, but... I guess we're just gonna have to wait for America to become... I mean, Russia to become thick again. Yeah, we're still actually technically allied to them, so... On an unrelated note, United Ireland is really nice to see. Yeah, they're still a puppet of the United Republic, but I assume the fact that England declared independence somehow helped them along. That's a good point, actually. Can I sphere England? That would be kind of fucking awesome. Hold up. Yeah, oh god, yeah. Gimme, gimme. Gimme England. Pleased to be of givings England. Actually, no, they're already sphered by... Yeah, whoops, that was a bad mistake. What the hell? Why would they be sphered by freaking... Okay, that's odd. Italy is a secondary power, though, and they... Yeah, they lost that war again... No, they won the war against Spain. Well, why are you... Why aren't you stronger than that, then? How odd. We have oil over here. Yeah, let's sphere Nijd as well. That spreads our influence rather thin. Yeah, we don't really need this, do we? It's mainly just as a backup for the, you know, in case the Japanese get any ideas, but we can also do... Yeah, we can still get some of these influence techs. That would work. Ulster forever. Yeah, that's the thing. This is an alternate history, right? And so there's no such thing as... okay, there is actually a couple of Anglo here now, but in the beginning of the game, there are like no there are no like settlers in Ulster, because the historical circumstances that caused Northern Ireland to be Protestant didn't happen in this timeline, and so... And yeah, I'm honestly surprised though at how big of a percentage of Anglois... Fuck, Anglois. I was corrected earlier on that, so... Fascist Albania. Mukas. Maybe... I think there's a decision for Greater Albania, so maybe they'll take it, I don't know. There might be some specific requirements. I guess I'll... nah, do I care? Not sure I do. Ooh, they're no longer sphered. What the hell? Why not? Because they're great power. Ooh, hello. And we just got a... Yes! Oh! Feels good, man! I swear, when the fuck does this event ever give you a CB that you actually want? This is the time where we got just that. Free CB to clean up our borders. It's like the border gods themselves are seeing the cancer currently existing in this world. And these boats are also dying. Hey, Burgundy, access please? Yeah, how about you hang out in port for a while, just to recover a bit. Yeah, oh, save. Fuck, if this game crashes right now, I would probably unironically end it all. And we can't be having that now. So, get some of these Western troops over here. Also, no, we still just have one gathering point, so I guess we just need to send them over there. Get some of that, get some artillery, there we are. Aren't Irish schools implementing Gaelic as a subject? They've been doing that for like 50, 100 years or something like that, haven't they? But like, it's like you can't force people to learn a language. Like, as a person who lives in a country where they try to teach you 2 languages you don't want, and as a person who didn't learn any of those languages, I can tell you, I have every bit of respect for why the Irish don't learn Irish, because like, unless you're motivated to learn a language, you will never learn it. It's just the harsh truths of life. So Irish is probably going to go extinct, and I would consider it a inevitability that it would go extinct, even if I personally think that it's a very sad thing. English, thankfully. It's a dead language that no one else speaks. Yeah, it sucks though. I don't know. Like, call me, I don't know what you want to call that, but like I do think that language is dying. It's sad. It's like, you know, there's no like objective reason to keep elephants alive, you know. But at the same time, elephants are nice and they should be preserved, just out of a sense of elephants are nice type thing. And I guess the same applies for languages. It's like the basic idea of something just dying out like that. It's just big oof. It's just a big oof. Really? Shitty ass bullshit. Language death is natural. Yeah, it is. It's just an oof. Well, the Mughals revolted, or, you know, had a revolution again. Which sucks. Well, I guess we'll just get some influence in there, see if we can get them back into the fold, but at least I don't have to go to war against them this time. That is nice. Right, are the boats back up to strength? Not really, so we probably should fund them. That would probably help. So is Latin. That does not mean people should enforce. No, that's true. Once again, as I say, it's sad that a language dies, but you should never force anyone to learn a language simply because it's pointless. Like, my school tried to teach me German, and ich sprache nicht Deutsch. I barely didn't fail in that. Really? I don't have enough. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I barely like even got through that. The new Chinese Empire. The new what now? Some land. Vinland National Territory. Nei! Have you been... Oh, yeah, they're removing my course up here, aren't they? The fucking bastards. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter what we click. So I'll just click that. Yeah, so we lost the core on this. Yeah, I guess I really should be invading them soon so I don't lose everything. Because this we cannot stand by. Send these guys over here. And I guess we can say... I don't think that's enough boats, actually. But this might be. So let's get the transport, send them to Burgundy. And finally get those troops who have been sitting there for just a while now. Also, what is it with Spain always becoming communist? Also, would Italy even join this meme war I'm going for? No, because they have a truce. But that will run out though, so we can still get Italy in. I'm a bit worried they won't be enough though. Also, what the hell? Since when did Navarra conquer the northern coast of Spain? They're even like assimilating parts of it. That's pretty awesome. Oh wow, Spain has like no army. Oh yeah, we can definitely win against them. They will be able to, you know, what do you call it? Mobilize a lot of troops, but that's as far as it goes. Maybe I should have kept Burgundy. I don't know. We might be able to get them back. But I do want to see if I can get the dual monarchy. Which is no longer called the dual monarchy. Nah, that's not going to happen. So, fuck all that. See if we can get Burgundy back. Yeah, we should be able to stay war leader despite it, you know, being a meme. Burgundy should be pretty powerful at this point, considering that they were the war leader. Considering that they were the war leader against the United Republic. The Northern Irish people... Well, a lot of the Northern Irish people aren't Irish per se. They're, you know... Also, you know, they're what are they called? I guess they're just called Northern Irish? Or Ulster people? Or something? They're like descended from like Scottish and Anglo colonists. Because as far as I know, the Ulster was such a rebellious province that the UK government settled a bunch of people there in an effort to keep it loyal. And to some extent it worked. Considering it is the only part of the the only part of Ireland still part of the UK today. So I guess it literally did work. Alright, let's get some more military technology, seeing as we are going to war and all that. And again, I doubt Spain is super powerful, so I'm actually going to not do that, and I'm going to get central banking memes instead. There was a period of 30 years of Northern Ireland terrorism. Yeah, it's like, I forget what the percentages are, but there's definitely a lot of Irish people in Northern Ireland. Can I ally Navarra, maybe? Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, I don't know, maybe Germany can be dragged into this meme? That would kind of help this. Also, why the shit did I... Oh, I didn't. Okay, yeah. Well, not all of it anyways. Yeah, let's take this army and actually send it to Catalonia. Just so we can have some military force ready to invade the Spanish mainland when that time comes. Should be doing that regardless. Where did I send these guys? Yeah, you should totally just meme yourself back over here. I guess I should send the entire navy over there, to be honest. Not sure what kind of forces these guys have these days, but it's regardless a thing that I should sort out. guess war taxes are something we should expect. Yeah, let's just prepare close to the capital. I think I will have to declare the war itself soon though. Because my CB is about to go away. I'll have one last break though before I do that.